Good day, ma'am. My name is Josh Richardson and Malabosa, and we are from Social Studies 1-1. We are the first group. We are here to tackle about micro and macroeconomics. My members, Miss Marianne, Kaye, Jadormeo, will tackle about the meaning of microeconomics, and Miss Taray will tackle about the corresponding examples.
Hello, good day everyone. I am Marianne from Jadormeo, and for today's video, I will be defining the microeconomics. So, microeconomics is a study of what is likely to happen, or somehow like tendencies, when individuals make choices in response to changes, and incentives, prices, resources, and or methods of production. So, the individual actors are often grouped into microeconomic subgroups, such as buyers, sellers, and business owners. So these groups create the supply and demand for resources using money and interest rates as a pricing mechanism for coordination. So the study of how individuals, households, and companies make decisions to allocate their resources. It normally applies to goods and services, markets, or individual finance. So, to mean to say, microeconomics is a social science that studies the implication of incentives and decisions, specifically how those affect the utilization and distribution of resources. So, microeconomics also shows how and why different goods have different values, and how individuals and businesses conduct and benefit from efficient production and exchange, and how an individual best coordinate and cooperate with one another. So generally speaking, microeconomics provide a more complete and detailed understanding than macroeconomics. For its studies, the decisions of an individual and firm to allocate resources of production, exchange, and consumption. Microeconomics deals with prices and production in single markets and the interaction between different markets, but leaves the study of economy-wide aggregates to macroeconomics. It formulates various types of models based on logic and observed human behavior, and tests the models against real-world observations. It can also be applied in a positive or normative sense. Positive microeconomics describes economic behavior and explains what to expect if certain conditions change. If a manufacturer raises the price, of course, positive microeconomics says that consumers will tend to buy fewer than before. If a major copper mine collapses in South America, the price of a copper will tend to increase because the supply is restricted. So the positive microeconomics could be a help an investor of why Apple Incorporation stock prices might fall if consumers buy fewer iPhones. Microeconomics could also be explained why a higher minimum wage might force the Wendy's company to hire fewer workers. So that is the definition of microeconomics, and for the next video you will be able to know what are the examples of microeconomics and how it is applied into real life.
Good day everyone, I am Taray and I am going to give the examples of microeconomics. Have you ever thought about all the microeconomics examples that happen in our everyday life? For example, the circular flow of economic activity is an important concept studied in microeconomics to show the relationship between the business and households. So I am going to give or state the different situations where the microeconomics examples come into play. Situation 1. A first-time home buyers shopping for the best loan interest rates. Situation 2. An individual choosing to purchase one product over another. Situation 3. A business investing in capital goods in order to expand. Situation 4. Two businesses competing in the same market. Situation 5. Customers' demand decreasing because price of a service has increased. And situation 6, a business lowering supply of a product because of cost increases. Also, there are other best examples of a microeconomic topic. When we talk about the elasticity and the microeconomics, this is how demand and supply react to change. For example, when a family demands less of a good whose price goes up, an optes for the alternate substitute. So let us say a family that enjoys Irish potatoes for breakfast can substitute for sweet potatoes in an event where the price of the former rises. And when we talk about the example of opportunity cost in microeconomics, this is where individuals and firms, based on the availability of scarce resources, opt for one option over the other. So this is because they cannot do both. For example, a person decides to start a business over going to college because he or she neither has the money nor time to do both. In general, microeconomics is concerned with the decision making that has a low level effects that is in a city or within the locality. So overall, the examples of microeconomics show that it is an essential attribute in our economy or in our society. It helps people and economics, particularly for the economists, to study and understand the dynamics of the economy, thereby helping them to make informed economic decisions.
Next is Mr. Ryan Joshua Cutaran will give the meaning and definition of macroeconomics, and Ms. Maria Kathrina Abucejo will tackle about the parallel paragons of microeconomics.
What is macroeconomics? Macroeconomics is a branch of economics that studies how an overall economy, the market, businesses, consumers, and governments behave. Macroeconomics examines an economy-wide phenomena such as inflation, price levels, rate of economic growth, national income, gross domestic product, and changes in unemployment. Some of the key questions addressed by macroeconomics include what causes unemployment, what causes inflation, what creates or stimulates economic growth. Macroeconomics attempt to measure how well an economy is performing, understand what forces drive it, and hand project how performance can improve. So, as we all know, macroeconomics is the branch of economics that deals with the structure, performance, behavior, and decision-making of the whole or aggregate economy. So there are two main areas of macroeconomics research which are long-term is economic growth and shorter-term are business cycles. Macroeconomics in its modern form is often defined as starting with John Maynard Keynes and his theories about market behavior and governmental policies in 1930s. Several schools thought have developed since. So in contrast to macroeconomics and microeconomics, microeconomics is more focused on the influences on and choices made by individual actors in the economy, the people, the companies, industry, and etc. While the macroeconomics, it deals with the performance structure, behavior, and decision-making of an economy as a whole. For example, using interest rates, taxes, government spending to regulate an economy's growth and stabilities. This includes regional, national, and global economies. And to furthermore understand what is macroeconomics, we have Ms. Kathrina Abucejo to explain further and give example about what is macroeconomics.
Good day everyone, I'm Marianne Abucejo from BSN Social Studies 101, and now I will be giving some examples of macroeconomics. Macroeconomics is the branch of economics that studies the behavior and performance of an economy as a whole. It looks at the factors such as inflation, unemployment, gross domestic product or GDP, and trade balances. Here is an example of macroeconomic issue. The government of is concerned about the high level of employment in the economy. To address this issue, the government decides to implement a fiscal policy that involves increasing government spending, infrastructure, increasing government and projects. This should create new jobs in the construction and manufacturing sector, which should in turn stimulate economic growth and reduce unemployment. This is an example on how macroeconomic policies can be used to address a major economic issue. That should be all. Stand.
So that was Miss Marianne Kaye Jadormeo in the definition of microeconomics, Miss Taray on its examples, Mr. Ryan Joshua Cutaran on the meaning of macroeconomics, and Miss Maria Kathrina May Abucejo on its parallel paragons. Now that we have enlightened and tackled about microeconomics and macroeconomics, what are its similarities and differences? In order to fully grasp and comprehend it, we need to compare and contrast. Microeconomics and macroeconomics both explore the same elements, but from different points of view. Microeconomics and macroeconomics are concepts that help you understand critical information about local and global financial events. It is clear that macroeconomics does not exist in isolation, but rather it is entwined with microeconomics and works in tandem in order to be efficient. Choices based on microeconomic factors, whether from individuals or businesses, can impact macroeconomics in the long run. Similarly, a national policy that involves microeconomics could affect how households and enterprises interact with their economy. Microeconomics and macroeconomics examine similar financial situations such as resource allocation and changing rates of economic progress. Both concepts are complementary, as analysts often use microeconomic principles to provide a context for large-scale financial investigations. For example, an academic scholar might examine the GDP of different countries from a macroeconomics perspective by using microeconomics principle of supply and demand to learn how businesses help shape it. C. Both are concerned with the economic aspects of firms and industries, seeking to analyze their behavior and draw normative implications. Microeconomics is the study of economics at an individual group of company level, whereas macroeconomics is a study of a national economy as a whole. Microeconomics focuses on issues that affect individuals and companies, while macroeconomics focuses on issues that affect nations and world economy. Microenvironment and macroenvironment both cover the overall environment of businesses, so they are more complementary rather than contradictory. The study of these environments will help to know the strength, weaknesses, opportunity, and threat of the business. Thank you so much, and this has been Josh Richardson and Malabosa, and my fellow members, thank you so much.